Om Mahaganapataye Namaha, the most powerful meditation technique that will transform your life. If there's been one technique over my 7 or 8 years of doing meditation and spirituality, the one that has benefited me probably the most of all, that always gives the best benefits, the most significant, the most transformative, is by and far the technique called Samyama from the father of yoga, Patanjali. I will leave a link underneath this video where you can get an initiation into this technique, which is using the Sanskrit sutras that take your consciousness to different levels. This technique is so powerful because it can be used in a universal way. Whatever mantra you're working with, whatever thought you want to manifest, whatever concept or thing you want to be revealed more information about, if you want to focus on something, for accessing what are called as siddhi powers or supernormal, supernatural powers, for realizing incredible peace and just a sense of fulfillment. This technique is extraordinarily profound, and if I was to teach one thing to everybody, I would have everybody learn this technique. So what is this technique? So the father of yoga, Patanjali, created a systematic process to take your consciousness from the absolute grossest level to the subtlest level, or the quantum ground state of complete silence. So when you're using a mantra, for example, you're chanting the mantra, what you're trying to do when you're chanting the mantra through repetition is push that mantra or those sounds deep into your subconscious mind. With Samyama, by doing the Samyama technique, you can get the effects of chanting your mantra thousandfold. Far, far, far more greater than just chanting. In fact, chanting is only part of the first stage of the Samyama. So there's 3 stages I'll go through real quick, and in this video I want to explain some of the concepts. So the first stage is called as dharana. Dharana is where you attach your mind to a concept, or to a mantra, or to a thought you want to manifest, or to an object you want to get information on. Say or a place. Say you want to be revealed information about Mount Shasta. You can hold on to the concept of Mount Shasta. By the dharana stages, you're focusing on the grossest form, whether you're speaking Mount Shasta or you're speaking a mantra. Say it's Shrim Brzi. You're chanting Shrim Brzi, you're attaching your mind to the mantra. And there's at this stage there's still a duality where there's a pause, you're chanting. It's not a steady flow. So the next stage after this is dhyana. Now dhyana has been corrupted when it went through from India and it made it to Japan. It's called Zen. The word Zen and dhyana are dhyan are the same. Now the concept of meditation here is very interesting. We talk about meditation a lot, and Patanjali defines it very clearly. Dhyana is a stage where there's an uninterrupted flow of that thought or mantra. So if you can imagine like pouring oil, there's an uninterrupted flow. So what you're doing at the dhyana stage, instead of chanting Shrim Brzi, Shrim Brzi, Shrim Brzi, you hold on to the concept where the mantra is there in a steady flow. There is no gap. It's just Shrim Brzi. So you're not actually thinking at this stage. It's a very subtle level of thinking. It's called as quantum thinking, as Dr. Ply would call it. So you're almost like you're quantumizing your mind. You're bringing your mind down to a subtle level. At this level, there is no gross thought. That's dhyan stage, is a steady flow of holding on to the thought. And at this stage, there is still a duality where there's still a thinker and there's still an object that's being thought of. So in this case, the object is the Shrim Brzi mantra, or whatever it is that you want to use here. Now, the last stage is Samadhi. The Samadhi stage is characterized by a merger. So as Dr. Ply says, there is, if you're using, we'll use the Shrim Brzi example here again, there is no one to think Shrim Brzi. You become Shrim Brzi. I like to imagine like this as because part of the Samadhi stage is a surrender. So again, you're not thinking. It's almost as if you can imagine if there's a big body of water, and that body of water is the concept or the mantra, in this case Shrim Brzi, that you want to merge with. It's almost as if you have to let go and you fall into the water and you just become the water. So the soul's not there, the mind's not there, it's just a state of Shrim Brzi, or a state of whatever it is. And at this level, again, there is no thinking. And I have to say, it took me years to, you go through stages of experience. Now, the most important thing of doing this, you can practice on your own, but there are sutras, and these sutras are from Patanjali. And what you do is you use a sutra at each stage. He's got a Dharana Sutra, a Dhyana Sutra, and a Samadhi Sutra. And this is the magic, or the secret sauce, if you will, of how this whole process works. So I just explained a very surface level intellectual explanation of the Samyama, which you can go and Google all about. But at the end of the day, it's not going to do you very much good, because the sutras are the sounds, and these are the sounds that put you in these states of consciousness. This is a secret. So when you use the Dharana Sutra, Patanjali, that's why it's important to get initiation, which is that link below I talked about in the City Powers program. By using the sutras, it puts you zoom into this state of consciousness, and each stage has a different sutra to it. So it's a fantastic thing you can do for yourself, is to go and learn and get initiation into these sutras, and then you can take any mantra you want. Now, when you're taking it at, for example, we're talking about chanting. So say you chant Shrimurji 108 times. That's one thing. But when you take it to the level of Dhyan, which is the second stage, when there's an uninterrupted flow, the Shrimurji mantra, you're getting the effect. If you're doing it correctly, you're getting the effect of the mantra as infinitely more powerful, infinitely more multiplication effect from just taking it to the Dhyan stage. And then at the level of the Samadhi stage, you're actually merging with it. Now, what are some effects of this? What does this look like practically when you're doing this? What happens is, it's as if you do like a Samyama in the morning, for example, it's almost as if you're carving out, you're digging like a well, you're digging a hole, you're carving out this area, a space in your consciousness where you become established in the deeper part of your mind. So it manifests as your waking state is a naturally silent. They say that the more your intelligence increases, or the more your consciousness increases, the greater silence of a natural kind, a natural silence, will be permeating naturally inside. And what does this look like on a scientific level is you have quantum physics talking about string theory. So what we have in string theory, it explains the yoga concept beautifully, and you have to ask yourself, is it a mistake that quantum physics happens to be keying in on exactly what the yogis have been saying for thousands of years? Are these yogis actually saying, because now all these new science, fields of science, are slowly starting to unravel all these yogic concepts and saying, yes, these are actually true. So with the quantum ground state, you have string theory, which is saying there's a state of silence, and then from that silence you get waves, what they call strings, which are the sounds, and these sounds turn into objects. So when quantum physics when they were seeking to understand matter, and they started analyzing it at subtler and subtler levels, from the molecules down to the particles and so on, what they found was that objects are actually a form of sound. So this computer mouse is actually sound waves. And so what's the lap of sound? What's the seat of sound? What is in between every word that I'm speaking right now? What is in between every thought that you have in your brain? That is a state of silence. So silence is the highest intelligence, because if you can go from the gross sound, say this computer mouse, and go to the lap of this, which is the silence, you're automatically looking at the reality in a different way, where you're no longer limited to a narrow band of the sound or the reality, but from a state of silence is where you can get a scientific explanation of omniscience, being able to have a simultaneous perception and awareness of all sounds. And all sounds here is all knowledge, all intelligence, all that can be known and experienced comes in as the sound waves. Everything starts as sound waves. So what you're doing in the Samyama technique is you're reversing the process from going from silence to sound. Samyama, what you're doing is you're taking the sound, or the grosser aspect, and you're reversing it, going back to silence, and riding your mind back into its natural state of quietness, where you can access infinite information and empower and intelligence. So I hope this video helps give a brief understanding, and my intention is to inspire you, and grab this technique and master it. Go and work with this technique, because you can use it with anything that you want. whatever mantra you want, whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you want to manifest, know more about, anything. This is a technique that you want to look into. If you want to meditate, it is Samyama. So if you have any questions or comments or feedback, please leave a comment below this video. And as always, if you want to be notified for future videos when they're released, please click the notification button and the subscribe button. God bless.